Hello and welcome to today's video. We're going to preview tomorrow's two series to take place in the LPL as the summer split begins in the four major regions. If you missed my video yesterday, I did do some broad rambling over how I felt about the LPL format. I do think it stinks. And then the comment section only further solidified just how silly I believe this is. Now that they're doing Fearless Draft, they're not only not they're already doing something. They're already doing too much with their change in schedule, the group stages, all this, and the Fearless Draft. But they're not actually, from what I understand, utilizing the Fearless Draft beyond this first stage. So they're utilizing Fearless Draft to determine the upper 9 and bottom 8 teams, to then have those teams play in a standard format for the rest of the split, which certainly begs the question, what are we doing utilizing two separate formats? And one is to determine who the good teams are versus the bad teams. I feel like that's just going to be a recipe for disaster. Hell, I think that actually thinking about this, there is an argument to be made that the LDL players that are being brought up may have a slight advantage early on in the first stage just because they've had done Fearless Draft before. It's definitely going to be an interesting situation. As far as the patch videos and things are concerned, I'm probably not going to include LPL in them. I'm going to have to try and work around it, only because the Fearless Draft is going to mess things up in champion presence and raise champion presence of champions that are not going to be prevalent in the other three major regions. It's just not going to work out well. So, the two series we have tomorrow, these are Group D matchups. Ultra Prime IG, they played last split to start the season. And IG would win that 2-0. Only 3 of the 10 starters from that series will be starting tomorrow, and they all play for Ultra Prime. IG, all 5 players are not playing. YS Cam is benched for Zuan, who's making his debut. Tianzhen is also benched for GLFS. I don't know how that's going to be pronounced. As far as mid lane, Nenny is making his, I would say, debut in mid lane. He played very little mid lane last year when Dove was still being imported. I apologize for the noise. Now Nenny has played a little longer in the mid lane. At that point, I think it was just kind of like just pretty much just a prayer throwing him out there. And just as a substitute, not necessarily because he had played mid lane, but now he has, and we'll see how he does in his debut in that situation. Another rookie, essentially. An is playing. For some reason, Zhao Yuji was playing in that one. Zhao Yuji actually is on Ultra Prime now, will be the backup behind Doggo, and then Vampire joins from EDG, and Wink is with EDG now. So Wink for Vampire was a trade. Cryan also went to EDG as well. Ultra Prime, Ching Tian is starting in top lane. Decade is benched. And then support role Nickhet is making his LPL debut. So there are a lot of rookies. It is a messy situation as far as, trying to guess who's going to win this is tough. So Hacker, Yukai, Doggo in the loss went 9, 21, and 13 with 69% of damage in the loss. All time, An and Doggo have played 9 games, An winning 6 of them. He had a 3.5 KDA, going 53, 23, and 55 in those matchups. That is based on my version of KDA, which counts assists as half. Doggo, 1.6, 25, 28, and 42. This dates back all the way to when Doggo played for BLG. DPM, Doggo had 565 and An 603. So that's the matchup, actually, the only matchup we've seen at the LPL level. I don't believe Yukai was not playing last year for LNG at all. And then the other players are all rookies. So it's truly the only way you can really predict the series is if you watch LDL, and I don't. So that's a thing. Nip and Weibo. Now, this matchup, we have some faces we recognize. Last time they played, Weibo won 2-0, and ironically, the 2 carries from that game, at least in my opinion, the top side for Weibo in ZDZ and Zhao Hao, are no longer with the team. They've been replaced by Breathe and Tarzan. So Xiaohu, Crisp, and Light went 15, 13, and 69 in the win with 57% of damage. Rookie Photic and Zhuo would go 6 kills, 22 deaths, 47 assists with 61% of damage in the loss. This is going to be a big matchup as those two teams duke it out for what we would assume to be the top seed in Group D. Anyone's Legend being slightly behind them, but Anyone's Legend, I believe, beat Weibo in spring, so you can't rule them out. There's some storylines here, right? Weibo, let's see how long it takes for them to get things going with their two new topside members. Nip running back the same 5. They may have an advantage due to just the synergy of things. And these two teams are really talented. There are good players. There are elite mid laners on both sides. So it's going to be a tight matchup. I thought about doing a rookie Xiaohu comparison down here, but that is a fool's errand unless you have the day off to try and do that. That's, of course, a matchup that's went on for, nearly a decade now. So that would have been, that's certainly like a off-season type of video or something where I have a day off to really dive deep in that. Maybe the next time they play and it falls into my schedule in a decent spot, maybe I'll do something of that nature. But that's an elite matchup, of course. Like I just said, the mid laners are good. AD carries are solid. Supports, I give it to Crisp. Top side, I give top lane to Nip, but jungle heavily to Tarzan. And I think mid-jungle duo is really in favor of Weibo just because of Tarzan over Aki. Rookie is better than Xiaohu, but I don't know if he can overcome the jungle diff. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.